Hello. Hello, lovely people. Hello. Fancy meeting you here. How is everyone? Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday. It is I, Whimsy, your hostess with the mostess. I'm so glad you could make it. How is everyone? We've got a large, we've got what they call a large brunch table that forms on Sundays. So it's always nice. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. So it is Palm Sunday. Cheers, everyone. For those of you who celebrate Palm Sunday, I hope it's a blessed Palm Sunday to you. Those of you coming back from church, those of you who are attending, I'm glad to see you. I could hear the church bells earlier. It was quite beautiful. And I knew that they had a couple different masses scheduled for today. As you can see, did you want to look outside? What's outside? Okay. There she is. All right. So before we get started, if you could like and share, that would be awesome. Subscribe would be even better. Let's go and start by giving gratitude to everybody who's decided to join. Excuse me. My cough is much better, and I should not be coughing today as I've taken my medicine. I want to first give a shout out to our latest members. So thank you to Wesley Starrett. Yay, Wesley Starrett has become a new member of the channel. Thank you so much. Hi, Michelle Knight. Thank you so much for the coffee. All right, so while we're getting started, the rule is be kind to all so that all can be kind to you too. I'm here in beautiful Portland, Oregon. I took some Allegra D and I washed it down with some coffee. Courtesy of Michelle Knight, I'm drinking Jamaican Blue Mountain. Delicious, delicious. It'd be great if you could share with the group who you are, where you're coming from, what you're drinking, what you're eating. How's your weather? We've been having some absolutely crazy weather. Hopefully you and your beloveds are staying safe. Wow, absolute crazy right now. Hi, Joel Tilson. Thank you for your help today. Hi, Donald Lampert. Thank you for being a member. Hi, Annie Herman. Good to see you. Southwest Wisconsin. Nice, Donald. Joel Tilson lives in beautiful Wyoming, and he's always cooking something up nice for Sunday. You guys have a major storm coming in on Tuesday. Wow. Stay safe. Hi, Desiree Robato. Hi, Geocosmic Valentine. Hopefully everybody has had a chance to check out Geocosmic Valentine's YouTube channel. She's a remote viewer and a great astrologer as well. I believe she's also taking new clients if you'd like to have your astrology done by a remote viewer. Pretty cool. Hi, Debbie Brady. Shalom and happy Palm Sunday. All right. Let's get to it. Who here cleans for spring? Who here is a spring cleaner? Oh, thank you, Holly. What a lovely donation. I forgot to put a charity up, but thank you. Oh, I like that flag for Ukraine. So I think we will. Deborah Murphy. Oh, she's in Kansas having You're having Dunkin' Donuts? Wow, nice. Hi, K Travel in beautiful Portland, Oregon. Well, let's talk about it. How does Michael feel? Holly W. asked, excuse me. How does Michael Cohen feel now that the indictments are happening? I don't know. What do you all think? Hi, Marjorie. Hi, Skeptical Brian. This goes back to a very old remote that we go back to over and over and over again. I don't know if y'all saw the short I did where we talked about it in the short. And that was this idea that everything went back to Robert Mueller. And I remember thinking to myself when everybody was freaking out about the Mueller report, why are y'all freaking out about the Mueller report when the Mueller report isn't the real investigation? This over here is the real investigation. Because when I sat in that room with Robert Mueller, what I saw was a map of multiple investigations and multiple people and their connections and multiple subpoenas. And it was all about the money. It was as if the real investigation was not public. The public investigation was the Mueller report, but the real investigation that Robert Mueller was doing was not made public. And that is what we did our remotes on. And so for me, as a remote viewer, it was very confusing because what I saw was not the Mueller report. What I saw was that Robert Mueller had been brought in to connect the dots on organized crime, and that there were multiple investigations into organized crime and foreign actors bribing people in DC. And that was the real investigation. And so when we went into those documents, as remote viewers, what came out of those documents was a series of investigations that were taking place, some of which were limited because the feds could not get on international waters. They couldn't access every meeting that was taking place. And some of those meetings were taking place in international waters on wealthy people's yachts. And they were operating almost like independent countries from what we could ascertain. They were also putting money into shell corporations that looked like they were somewhere almost like the Southeast Atlantic or something. And then we found out about the shell corporations. The other thing that we accessed when we got into the original documents before it was published, public information, was the conversation that had taken place between Robert Mueller and Michael Cohen, which was part of that real investigation. Because Cohen basically could have faced a lot of time as a member of MAGA, an attorney who was having to get another attorney, right? So in that conversation, I believe there were several times that Mueller spoke with Michael Cohen. It was not to publish the Mueller report. Let's be very clear. Why do you think Michael Cohen was talking to Mueller if it was not about the Mueller report? What was the Mueller report originally supposed to be about? Russian interference in the 2016 election, right? But instead, Mueller was doing something else, which was he was following the money. So he did a series of subpoenas. He then took the real investigation, handed it off to different federal. There were different investigations that were going on, and he also sent the information over to SDNY, New York, for cases. And so Cohen did his time. He did a lesser sentence. I think he did, what did he do, 18 months? And then he cooperated. He continued to cooperate with that investigation, which was assisted by Mueller. And that is how we wound up where we are right now. The reason why I feel like a lot of the Mueller stuff is starting to come out now, people had predicted it would take 5 years, 10 years before the real investigation that Mueller was doing was going to crack, that people were never really going to find out what was really going on in that investigation. It was always going to be the public Mueller report and people feeling like, well, he never really did anything. But it's very clear when you look at the people that he subpoenaed, the fact that they had intercepted phone calls talking about telling Cohen to destroy documents, that they had, the feds had been bugging the phones and watching these people for quite some time. So that was why I put out the video on, because I felt like a lot of people kind of got lost in the shuffle, how we wound up, excuse me, where we wound up, and the significance of really what Robert Mueller did. He knew that eventually he was going to get his man, whether it was now or 5 years from now, right? He didn't have to be the one to do the arrest. He's not going to be there during the arraignment, right? It's not like Michael Cohen and Robert Mueller can show up in court on Tuesday and shoot the breeze and talk about the good old days, right? Even though ultimately it culminated in this indictment. Would you agree? Yeah. Did everybody see Saturday Night Live opening last night? Did y'all have a good laugh? I know I did. I thought it was hysterical. Oh, thank you. The shirt, I got this shirt in Puerto Escondida. And Lorna sent me this for my birthday. Thank you, Lorna. I love it. Yes, the duet with Don King. Their greatest hits, right? I really don't think the mental health of Donald Trump is going to be very great after Tuesday, because I think that it's every nightmare he had about who he was, being revealed, that he's the loser. I think it's a testimony of how important it is to, if you see a child's in trouble, particularly with bullies, we should intervene as soon as possible, because this is kind of what can happen, right? They grow up to become adult bullies and they can do a lot of damage. He hates losers. He's a loser, right? Nervous breakdown. I just think broken. I can't imagine what kind of psychological defense system could Donald Trump have when the whole entire world is pointing and saying loser, which is his fundamental fear. And now it's realized. I think it'd be very hard for him, his ego, to come back from that. Personally, just when I've profiled him, but who knows? Let's all sit back and let's wait and see what happens. Any other quick questions before we do the community prayer, the empath prayer? I guess we can do the empath prayer and then we'll do the community reading for people. How am I? I'm good. I got a bronchitis. I got a very bad cold a couple weeks ago. I don't think this is allergies. I think it's bronchitis. I didn't take antibiotics. I'm just drinking tea. I took some cold medicine. I'm doing better, but unfortunately, my lungs are not the strongest in the world. So, but every day I get a little better. Try not to cough in the microphone. I do think that people are starting to relax because this also goes back to conversations that we've had about international prosecutions, war crimes. Should our should our politicians be held accountable for war crimes just like any other country? For example, Bolsonaro could be facing crimes against humanity. They're looking into charging him for what happened with indigenous persons in Brazil. What if people wanted to charge Trump and his administration for crimes against humanity because of what happened at the border? How do we feel about our president being tried in an international court? Kind of gives you a perspective, doesn't it, on how Russia feels about wanting to try Putin in an international court, right? We always uh, maybe somebody else, but not our country, right? But there are people that want to see Trump charged for crimes against humanity because of what happened at the border. I don't know. Something definitely to think about. Yeah. Y'all want to hear the empath's prayer and the community reading? Or looks like you guys wanted to talk a little bit more about this before we moved on. I'm here as long as you are. Y'all having good brunches, I hope. Joel, were you making something really fancy, Joel? You were making like I don't eat pig usually, but it sounded rather fancy, like a pork roast or something. Um, Yeah, so I'm doing my cleaning. It's very psychological. I'm not Orthodox. I used to be very religious as a Jewish person, and we have to clean our house. It has to be spotless of all breadcrumbs. It's deep, deep cleaning prior to Passover. And it's a tradition that I've kept for decades. And so even though I'm not Orthodox, I'm not a religious Jewish person, I go a little crazy. I've actually had to talk to a rabbi about it. It's true. And I just go crazy and I have to just clean my house spotless right before Passover. So I do. I get that spring cleaning bug every year. You know, I don't know if other people do, but I do. All right, let's do it. We're going to do the empath's prayer and community reading. Sound good? And then we will blitz, blitz, blitz away after that. And so any questions that people have that you need me to get to? I mean, I didn't get to many questions other than the indictment last Thursday because everybody was like freaking out about the indictment. All right. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. This reading is for everybody watching today. It's a collective reading, and the idea is that I'll try and send messages to everybody that Spirit wants to get to the group, to answer any prayers or questions you may have had during the prayer. I'll see if Spirit can try and get to everybody. It's part of the collective. Not everybody can afford a private reading, so I try to offer the collective when I can. All right, where we are at right now collectively as a group. The songs and the energy that I'm hearing is kind of a feeling of don't rain on my parade. You know, don't rain on my parade. Words don't bring me down. Don't you bring me down today? This is a time for everyone when we really want to embrace the spring, right? So the spring is the time when the sap is flowing. You're all entering into this time of fertility. We're working with Gaia to plant. We're working with Gaia to help heal the earth. But many of you are going to be doing theater, the arts, plays, music, film, TV, acting, writing, creativity. This is a time in your life when a lot of people are just becoming really expressive and creative. What's the point? The point is to bring joy and make others happy while you're alive and to enjoy this process of living and experiencing these things. It's a positive time in your life, and it's typified by the Empress. So the Empress is a card we think about of creativity, fertility, and abundance. This is a time for you to really explore the abundance of the world. Not scarcity of the world, but abundance of the world. Sometimes we can have a scarcity of life, and sometimes we can look at the life as being abundant. This is a time when we really see the bounty of the earth, the abundance of the earth. The Karma card is a 9 of Wands, which is a feeling of being defensive or feeling as if you have to protect yourself to some extent from the outside world. And so on the one hand, you may be feeling this unbelievable creative energy, like you want to really be in your garden or create art or do something really positive. But on the other hand, there's this feeling of needing to defend yourself from the outside world. And that's particularly true, I think, for those of us who are news junkies, because we see so much that's going on in the world that really has us heartbroken. It's very difficult to be positive when you know that people are suffering in Ukraine, or when you look at what's going on with them trying to rebuild Libya, etc., what's going on in Iran with the human rights violations taking place, etc. Yemen is another one where people are very concerned about human rights. So the Karma card, not surprisingly, is a 9 of Wands, and 9 of Wands is all about attempting to protect or defend yourself, or even feeling to some extent being jailed. And so I think the main spiritual lesson here is if we want to make the world a better place, it's important for us not to be crippled by the ugly in the world, you know, to hide ourselves away, almost like agoraphobia, wounded, afraid to leave our own homes, and instead focus on the beautiful in the world and how you can contribute to it. Where you are at right now, this is a wonderful time for many of you to begin new projects, to become excited about new projects. If you have a side hustle or business, now is the time to really put 110% into your business endeavors. If you're an artist or motivated by creative endeavors, I see you really plowing through this month. April is going to be a great, great month for you. First house is the Ace of Wands. It's a card of entrepreneurship, and it would indicate to me that your energy is coming back. If you had low energy in the winter, you're probably going to be having a lot more energy in the spring. And I would suspect that many of you have seasonal affective disorder with this type of energy, because this is somebody, that's fire. That's your internal core fire. Ace of Wands is like a yang card. It's the lingam. It's a very yang or masculine card. It's actually a male erection if you actually look at the card. We think about wood as an element. It's associated with fire because fire burns. We also think of it as a date, dendrochronology. We do give dates with the wands. And So it's talking about a 1 month period when I get a month, when I get a Ace of Wands in, because I read them as months. So basically what it's saying is that this month is very proactive for you, a lot of fire, a lot of passion, a lot of positive work. Focus on your artistic endeavors. I think there's an overall feeling in the United States of fear of spending money. We've talked about that. A lot of it has to do with the fact that inflation is up 10, 15, 20% in some cases, depending upon what you're purchasing. So Four of Pentacles is a card that's been associated with holding on to your coin, but it also has a positive aspect, which is to look in the mirror, examine the nature of your own existence. It has an aspect of Buddhahood to it. So it doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't mean you're broke. It means that you are careful and cautious with your financial investments going forward. Things are ending or changing for you regarding your own restrictions. It's very important for you at this time to think about your own helplessness. I'll give you an example of helplessness. Helplessness is me anytime I order anything from IKEA and I have to put it together myself without any help from anybody else. Hello, I feel helpless. Putting software into the computer, fixing a software glitch, these things that intimidate us, where all of a sudden we become helpless like a 3-year-old child. Fight past it. That is the message from Spirit. To feel like you're in a knot, to feel trapped, to feel helpless, to feel bound. Push through. Take it slow. Get uncomfortable this month. If you play it safe, you're going to miss a great opportunity. I don't know what's going on astrologically. I'd be curious to hear from Geocosmic Valentine, other astrologers, but this is fire time. They're also telling you to take it slow and to be cautious, because there are aspects here of learned helplessness. And that can sometimes happen when we're learning a new skill. I'm learning how to be a camera person, right? I'm learning how to make films. It is a very slow process for me. I got my backlight here. Isn't the lighting great? I've gotten rid of most of my shadow because I have a fill light over there. I've got a light over here. It's great, right? I'm learning, but I'm uncomfortable, right? Trying to make things look nicer for everybody, trying to give a little symmetry, right? So anytime we put ourselves out there and we try to do something we've never done before, we get a little uncomfortable, right? We may feel that we're a little bit, oh my God, I can't do this. You can do it, but your 4th house, Knight of Pentacles, surveys the situation, takes it slow, and also you have a card of reservation. But your 6th house is the Chariot, which means movement. Take it slow, steady, wins the race. I'm telling you guys, if you've got a bucket list of things that you want to do with your life right now and you're afraid because you feel helpless, Spirit's message to you is take it slow, survey the situation, and Atomic Habits. I'm listening to that right now on Audible. Atomic Habits, little tiny changes that seem almost atomic, like me feeling I'm never going to be a great guitarist. I can't focus on that. Every day I put a little effort into learning to play the guitar. So that is how you get yourself from feeling trapped to feeling like you can conquer whatever, excuse me, whatever your dreams are. Some of you, oops, there's an ad here. I'm going to skip it. Some of you are going through protracted grief and depression that's gone on for a very long time. I think some of this might have had something to do with COVID and the president, the issue with the former president. Some of you may be suffering from protracted long-term grief. They say now is the best thing for issues regarding grief is temperance and healthy daily habits. Healthy daily habits. Also be careful about isolation from other people. These cards also say would indicate that it's important not to become agoraphobic or afraid that to be out in the world. Try and be a little bit more social. This year will be very successful for you. You will have a very successful career if you remember Spirit's message to you. You must get uncomfortable. Take it one step at a time. You cannot grow and change as a person until you get uncomfortable and take steps that are necessary in order to master and learn the things that you want to learn and the parts of yourself you want to develop. Take it slow. Rome wasn't built in a day. This will be a very, very productive year for those people who are willing to do the work. Final outcome is the Ace of Swords, which is a 1-year period of success after tears. Transformation of your situation towards the positive, so long as you are committed and so long as you are willing to do the work. If you feel overwhelmed or frightened because you feel like you've taken on too much, message from Spirit is to slow it down and take everything slow. Kind of like my attempt to clean this apartment for Passover, right? I get overwhelmed. I need to slow down and just take everything one corner of the apartment at a time. There's a lot here talking about temperance, balance, slowness, and giving yourself time and grace to develop the skills and the things you want out of life. If you do that and you don't give up, you'll have a very productive year, particularly those of you who are interested in the creative arts. But you have to begin. So how I would interpret that card with where I'm trying to go is that I'm probably going to be doing more filmmaking. My guitar playing is probably going to be far more developed by next year than it is this year. But the message from Spirit is I've got to be consistent, right? If I want to do community theater, these are little goals I have for myself, then I have to begin the process, right? Take a little bit every day, and by next year, you'll see yourself in a very different place. Overall, a great reading and a good month for everybody, if you do the work. Okay, so l'chaim, everyone. I'm going to take a little bit of water, and when I get the order, we will blitz away. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. No private readings. Those are on Saturdays. We do cover private readings for people on Saturdays. Thank you to everyone who's donated and supported the channel, members as well. I forgot to put up a charity, but if you do decide to donate to the channel today, it will be going towards taxes. So that is, unfortunately, like the rest of you, I'm doing my taxes. Oh, hi, Shivani. Thank you for your comments this week. I've read them and I appreciate them. Oh, Joyce has given us the order. Very good. All right, let's do it. Let's blitz away. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, somebody started using their bullet journal. That sounds cool. All right, so Carol Jones wants to know the future of the American dollar. I'm a little confused about this because I feel like so much of what we do is digital. It's a digital dollar already, isn't it? I mean, if I'm paying with a debit card, I almost never use cash. So why do we need an actual electronic? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of confusing. Oh, thank you, Alwanza, for 18 means chayin, life in Hebrew. All right. Let's take a look at the future of the American dollar. A really strong system is being developed for the American dollar. It's very strong. We don't have to be afraid about the future of the American dollar. Not at all. Truth, Archangel Michael. Healing. Mastery over the dollar. Strong judgment. If we have a digital currency, it's very solid. Victory within 6 months. We will have a digital currency. Excuse me. We'll have a digital currency developed within 6 months. Yeah, we're going to be hearing more about this within 6 months. The feds are happy about it because something about what they're developing is going to make it very difficult for people to avoid paying taxes. And they're going to make it very, very difficult for people to develop. Excuse me, something's causing me to. Let me take some water. So basically what they're saying is within 6 months, we're going to see some kind of change with the digital dollar that's going to actually be good for the US dollar. Something is going to make the dollar very, very strong, very, very solid. And it's going to prevent cheating and corruption. You can see here within 6 months, strong, solid dollar. Look at that Archangel Michael. Confusion from the opposition. So I think there was an attempt to weaken our dollar, possibly by adversaries. And you can see here mastery, the star. Final outcome, judgment, we hang it up. Yeah, we're going to get rid of paper dollars, but it's a very successful thing. It's a very successful thing based on what I saw there. Thank you, Desiree. It's very kind of you. And thank you to the person who, somebody donated $5 as well. And I wanted to, Melissa. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Yeah, taxes. All right, let's keep going here. So Joel Tilson wants to continue the question on the strength of the dollar. You saw those cards, they were great. He wants to know if North and South America could be joining together in a common market. Aren't we doing, well, no, we have the North American Trade Agreement. Interesting. Confusion right now over the future of South Africa. There are new contracts for trade that are going to be very profitable to South Africa, and I'm seeing a lot of activity with agriculture for them. And there's a lot of wealth over South Africa, South America. There was some heartbreak over civil unrest at this time, but you can see, look at this, new contracts coming in for South and Central America. And I think once they conquer this new agriculture, drought-resistant agriculture, like they have new domes that capture water, like the Israelis are developing. Look at this, past strife. Queen of Swords coming in, past strife. You know, we're seeing a real renaissance in South American economy. Look at this, Six of Pentacles moving in. That is helping those who cannot help themselves. That is just, it's also a charity card. Very strong relationship, Joel, between the United States and South America going forward. They're very strong economies, and the more we invest in them, America is going to be very strong in the coming years. The continent, both North and South. It's a real, I don't know how you knew about that, Joel, but look at the final outcome. Look at all the work ahead between South America and the United States. Contracts, building, infrastructure. By the way, a lot of new infrastructure and housing being developed in South America as well. Yes, there's going to be a lot of economic opportunities between both the South and the North. Really good question. Wow, I didn't anticipate that. Oh, thank you, John France. Wow, that's really great. I've actually been stressing a little bit about my taxes, so I really appreciate that. All right. Michelle Hot. Hi, Michelle. Did I pronounce that right? Yeah, Hot. Will the former guy have a gag order placed on him on Tuesday? Boy, wouldn't you guys like to know? Wouldn't I like to know? Would he even be able to maintain a gag? I wonder. Let's take a look. I have a lot of compassion for him from a perspective of mental illness, but of course, I also have compassion for his victims. I mean, what he did to the children at the border, the people at the border, it's interesting to have that conversation. How do we feel about him potentially facing war crimes or crimes against humanity? I actually would be at peace with that because I think that the based on what I've heard and seen about what happened at the border, yeah, somebody needs to be held accountable. But I don't know if other people disagree with me about that. But I have no problem if our why should we think that we are above the law if our human beings are human beings and there are certain inalienable rights that human beings have, human rights we're all granted, and I don't think an American president should have the right to violate those rights just because they're an American. So I actually think, yes, I have no problem with him facing international court for crimes against humanity. He's in a very bad place, I can tell you, Donald Trump, as a remote viewer, but also just looking at these cards. He's in a bad place. If this individual has a drug problem, I can tell you it's been exacerbated. This is somebody who needs to be medicated in order to be there on Tuesday. If he's arraigned on Tuesday, if Donald Trump is arraigned on Tuesday, if I were his doctor, I would sedate him. And that is what I have seen both as a remote viewer when I go in and you get to become the person as an empath. That's why being an empathic remote viewer is so amazing. I felt that it was so humiliating for me. I was begging not to go. I felt like I was a 3-year-old child not wanting to go. So in a case like that, I need medication. I would have to, this is not unusual when someone is going to be executed or someone is going into a situation like that doctors will heavily sedate the prisoner. And we have here a problem of drug addiction or sedation, that this person is an addict and that they may have to be sedated, or there's an addiction issue here. And that this addiction could lead to a crash of some type. So it's very sad. I mean, I don't enjoy feeling that any more than I would enjoy, say, feeling what it is to be one of his victims. I guess that's what I'm saying as a remote viewer. It doesn't feel any better when I'm feeling it as him. So there's substantial evidence against him, and the accusation, they're showing the grifter card. So he is basically this is an accusation of a financial crime. He will be stripped of basic rights, most likely, as a result of this. There's strong evidence against him by the feds. He was given multiple opportunities to cooperate. He laughed and remember Mueller said he wanted to sign sealed confession in exchange for immunity. He turned Mueller down. There was something about a rejected offer from the feds. This is my feds card. This is his final outcome. This is what he needs to get through court. This is drugs. You guys want to talk about it? Anybody surprised? Does anybody feel empathy? Or are people so upset about what this individual did that the ability to feel empathy is gone for this person? guys want to talk about that? I do have empathy because I think he's mentally ill. But that doesn't mean he shouldn't show up, doesn't mean he shouldn't be removed from the general population, doesn't mean he won't be found guilty, because he will. The case against him is pretty solid. Yeah, I'm sorry he didn't get help sooner, you know. And I'm angry at the Republican Party for allowing to have enabled this mentally ill person to have done the things that the fact that they were complicit. That's really, I think, difficult for a lot of us. Yeah. He's speaking Tuesday after his arraignment. He will be medicated. I can guarantee you that with those cards. You saw the cards? I'd be very surprised if he was sober at the arraignment. Yeah. Okay, Joel Tilson. Well, Trump's electronics be taken away. It's a really good question. I just see his mental health deteriorating a lot. He's never been in this situation before. That's what he's saying. He's been in legal trouble like this before, but going before the courts, defending his position. He will fight not to have his electronic. Man, I'm worried about this guy, just as a reader. He's got a drug. This is like addiction. Yeah. It's very possible that they will try to take his electronics away, Joel. Yeah. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Thank you, Rebecca, for the $5 donation, and it will go towards taxes. Thank you. Thank you, John France, for the donation. Okay. Oh, you think that half the time we see him, he's sedated, Kathy? Kate? Okay, so according to Geocosmic Valentine, he's in an astrological phase, which is really self-destructive right now. So that would probably, his cards, he wound up with a devil in the 7th house as his immediate environment over the case of this indictment twice. So okay. Income taxes. Some say we should abolish income tax and instead have a national sales tax. Will it ever happen? Let's look at the future of taxes. Oh, thank you, Joel. The tax man. The future of taxes in America. Let's just do a general. The future of taxes in America. Oh, thank you, Brenda. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. That is so interesting. Oh my God, I learned something about American economy I didn't know. Hey, did you guys know that the American government makes money? Did you guys know how much this is like talking about us making money? They're saying the future of the United States, the poor will not be drained with taxes. The tax burden will be repaired because America will be profitable due to sales of technology. So they're basically saying America's wealth will not come from taxes, but from the sale and technology of new businesses, which seem to be helpful to the planet. Remember when I had told you guys that when we went into the future of the United States, they would hail in the new green economy? We said that the old economy would die. It would take a couple of years, not to be freaked out about the changes in the stock market, and that it was just because we're moving towards new technologies and that America would be at the forefront of those technologies. So what they're basically saying is that we take control of the new technologies and it makes the country very, very wealthy. And that alleviates the tax burden because people are paying America for what they're producing. And so we have contracts all over the world for this new economy, and that makes us wealthy. And for that reason, we are able to alleviate the problem of poverty and homelessness in the United States. That's basically how I would read these cards. So you guys want to see them now? Future of the United States is wealth. You thought I was making it up. Mm-hmm. So Ace of Pentacles comes into seventh position. So we are a wealthy nation. We will be wealthy again, and we are entering into a time that's productive, creative. The old ways are gone, and the old way of paying taxes is gone. This is through American service, through aid and sale and entrepreneurship. And I'll show you something else. The opposition to the United States is the Queen of Swords, which is that the old ways are gone, and now we're looking at new ways of doing things. And then here is the Inventor's card, the Magician, right? Often associated with inventing or manifesting new ways of doing things is the future of the country. So that is why our tax burden. So if the country owes $700 trillion, oh my God, they're taking all of our money. But if we owe $700 trillion, but we've exported 800 trillion in the new green economy, we've paid back our tax burden without burdening the people. And that is what the solution will be for the nation. And so we move forward into the new future, which is the Knight of Wands, which is entrepreneurship, business. It's fast, it's furious, it's passion. I didn't even know. Is that what other countries do? I didn't know that. I know we sell weapons, but I guess that would be an income source. Invention. I learned something. I didn't know this. Thank you, Olma Pei. I thought it all came from us. I don't know. What do I know about how we pay our bills? Final outcome is a healing for the nation. Our hopes and fears, heartbreak for the nation through solutions, sacred contracts, and entrepreneurship. Strong judgment lay ahead. Yeah. So we get ourselves out of debt by inventing new green economy. That's basically what happens. We're debt free. Oh my God. I'm telling you, you align yourself with Gaia, you live by her rules, she takes care of all your problems. We'll figure it out. We're figuring it out. Oh, thank you, Annie. So kind of you. Thank you, Alma. All right. So we've talked a lot about Ukraine, and we've talked about the future of Ukraine, and we've talked a lot about how a lot of countries are investing in the future of Ukraine. Thanks, Anne. That's very sweet of you, Anne Dillon. And it says it's Anne Dillon's first super chat, and they say we're supposed to celebrate. Okay. Celebrate. Thank you. Oh, that was a little note. I just wanted to say regarding Ukraine, because people had asked me about it, that China was negotiating peace because from China's perspective, war is not good for the bottom line. What happened as a result of war and COVID is there were huge supply chain problems. Particularly, the worst of the supply chain problems were with China, which caused inflation. Now, Chinese business people can't pay back their loans, which is causing all kinds of other problems. Oy vey, oy vey. So they want peace, and they probably want to get in on some of the new contracts as we build Ukraine. My feeling about Ukraine is that Russia is leaving Ukraine because they don't have any weapons left. Bakhmut did not go well for the Wagner Group because they were surrounded and they didn't have the wherewithal to defend themselves. And I think that what's going on with Putin is that he is thinking of putting nukes and tripwires in certain areas to keep the West out. If you come in, the nukes that I'm planting in Belarus will go. This is something that's basically his way of saying, I've got a cheap way of staying in Ukraine. All I have to do is booby trap everything. And then if you come in, kaboom. So he can leave, he can take his army because everything is booby trapped. So let's look at the future build of Ukraine and how we're going to deal with this new threat as Putin considers the fact that he's going to pull his army out, but he's going to keep these nukes in Belarus. Russia is pushing ahead with what? Half the Wagner prisoners are dead. Cannon fodder. I've never even heard of casualties like this in modern warfare. Have you? Let's take a look. It's over. He's trying to savage his existing partnerships. He doesn't have any money. He's walking away from the battle. He can't win. Clarification. He wants a new contract. He wants them to sign on the dotted line so he can leave the battlefield. Look. He's trying to preserve his contracts. His health is questionable. Archangel Raphael right over Putin, who's the opposition. Putin is not well. No, the build of Ukraine will be successful. Here's the build. Here's the war being abandoned. Here's the build. Here's the power of the inventor. Yeah, Putin is displaying as having a health challenge. That's true. You can see here health issue over Putin's cards. So it shows Russia withdrawing. That whole thing about weapons is not going to keep the West out. There's no obstruction like that. And Ukraine will be rebuilt successfully. Yeah. Thank you, Anne. Oh, I did say that. Okay, thank you to her. All right. Let's see. Let's do another one. When do I think the war will end? I think that the war, look, they say it could go on and on and on. Which is entirely possible. Kathy Reagan is asking this question. How long do I think it could go on? I don't know how it can continue without weapons. So that's what has me confused. They don't have weapons. They don't have equipment. So, and the cards always show Ukraine is in a position of power to rebuild. And I think that there's China got hit really hard by COVID. I mean, it really bankrupted them. I mean, they've got a lot of financial problems. And I think people, just because people aren't talking about it doesn't mean it isn't true. It's very obvious that they are in serious financial problems in China. Oh, thanks, Anne. Anne Herman, thank you for that donation. Well, I think that Trump's drug problem will be revealed. Probably, yes, because it's been public information. It fell twice in the seventh house that he had an addiction and that it would be exacerbated at this time. So, yeah, probably, Joel. I would think so. All right, Melissa Miller. What do you see for reforestation in the US? Oh, that would be good. Maybe next week we'll do American forest. Y'all know about the winds, right? Like when we do trance work, a lot of the remote viewers, when we were asked to follow the energy on weather, we get strong winds. We get pulled by the wind. The winds are coming. The winds are coming. We've had, what, 60 tornadoes hit this week? That is terrifying. I also feel like these winds could have an impact on aviation. We're now starting to see that they're cutting aviation. The other thing I saw when I went into remotes on aviation is that they've got to start hiring more people. They're trying to keep the prices down by not hiring enough pilots, etc. So two big changes I'm going to predict for aviation is prices will probably go up as they hire more people and expect more problems because of weather with aviation. Could have an impact and probably will on cruising as well. Another tornado on Tuesday. Jeez. Absolutely crazy. Oh, the bison are back. That'll be nice. Oh, money is coming in to preserve the plains and the Southwest. A lot of money coming in to reinvest the Southwestern United States and to excuse me, and to regrow wood, the trees, etc. See money coming in. Here's the Southwest, 10 of Cups, and the Sun. So they're rebuilding from the fires quite a bit, actually, Melissa. Seeing a lot of activity in the Southwest with these cards. Be careful of misappropriation of funds. Big changes environmentally. It's the only economy left, right? Is the green economy. So, but what's amazing is we turn a lemon into lemonade because America makes a ton of money off the new green economy. Oh, thank you, Lenore. Very kind of you. Thank you, Marvel Johnson. All right. I'm going to call it quits. I'm going to call it a day, as they say. Hope everybody had fun. Be positive. Stay positive. Everything is going to be fine. The future is good. Go out and create some art. That is the message from Spirit. Commune with good people. Create beautiful things. Focus on the good and be part of the good. Don't let yourself be unraveled just because there are bad things going on in a few parts of the world. Instead, be part of the change you want to see in the world. Create positive things and have your attention go towards that. And all will be well. The economy is going to be strong. The US dollar, very, very strong. And these dark times shall pass. That's basically what I got for you. All right. Thank you, everyone. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com and you can check my information below this video. I am out of here. I'll see you all next time. Be sure and support the other readers. Okay, everybody? Thank you.